At the end of the game, Kansas was dribbling out the clock. There was a steal. Player went the other way to finish that. There was a block. One guy standing over another guy for a long time. Bench is empty. A steel stool is raised in anger, weaponized. It spills into the crowd. It was a bad scene. Bad scene. Now, what does that remind you of? Another scene that in my mind was not a bad scene because it didn't lead to something like that. But something similar happened, also involving Kansas. Remember, it was Monmouth. Monmouth was down 55 at the end of the game against Kansas in November. George Papas was not giving up on that game of Monmouth. He was not giving up on that play. He steals the ball. He lays it in. He cuts the deficit to 53 with time running out. I had no problem with that personally. All right, I didn't think there was some crazy violation of code. He wanted to keep playing. The violation of the code was when he got teed up for mother bleeping people. And then the game went back to 55. However, if you missed it, and I don't know how you could have, but if you missed it, it sounded like this.
KU doesn't have to shoot. If it ends right now, it's going to be a doubled up final tally. I think that's where it's going to end. Tristan Inaruta has it taken away by Papas as he was trying to dribble out the clock, and Papas throws down a dunk and then gets up in Inaruta's face. He's going to get teed up, and he should. KU was doing the classy thing and running out the clock. Papas then comes in, takes the ball away, throws a dunk, and then talks trash. He needs to get back to New Jersey with that type of attitude.
Yeah, that or California where I live. Quote, they were doing the classy thing by dribbling out the clock. Yeah, like they were doing the classy thing by raising a metal stool later against Kansas State to weaponize it. What's classy about dribbling out the clock? There's nothing classy or not classy about that. It's just dribbling out the clock. But there was time on the clock, and Papas was like, well, why should I quit on this game? This game's not over. And then he made the steal and went the other way. So at that point, I got a real kick out of that because people were getting so mad. So mad. Now, I'm not saying that he should have been MFing people, but I'm not saying that he shouldn't have stolen the ball. In fact, I got a huge kick out of it. And my point at that time was I'm a middle-aged male, and I do this as a living, and I stopped wearing other people's jerseys right around the time I turned, 14. And I'm not saying if you're an adult male or female that you shouldn't. I'm just saying I did. This is the first time in years I've wanted somebody's jersey. So I got on the air that day and I said, I want George Pappas' jersey. I'll rock that. Hell, I'll wear it on this show for what he did. I thought the whole thing was hilarious, honestly. So for a couple of days, I said, I need that jersey. I need that jersey. And then I never got that jersey, and then the world moved on. And now there's somebody on the phones who says that she might be able to help me get the jersey. Let's find out. We go to New Jersey, Alexis. And not just Alexis, but Alexis tells Adam Hawk that she is George Pappas' mother. Now, I know Hawk. Hawk's a dope. There's no doubt in my mind that he could get Jedi mind tricked on this. And I don't know if it is, but we're going to find out. Alexis, nice to have you on the air. How are you?
Hey, Jim Rome. How are you?
I'm great. So are you really George Pappas' mother?
I am Georgie Pappas' mother, the one and only.
That is great. So it's so nice to meet you. So what motivated you to make this phone call today, Alexis?
Well, first of all, Jim, I've been trying to get you that jersey. It's coming your way soon.
Super. Love it. Love it. I will look forward to that, and I will wear it. So what do you make of this whole thing? Like, when that whole thing went down, and you're
I don't want to...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
And his father and I happened to be there at that epic moment at The Rock when he pulled the trigger with the last 5 seconds and made the dunk. The steal, the dunk, the flex, the curse out, the tee. I guess you did everything you possibly could do in 5 seconds, right or wrong. And it was exciting for all of us. If we could have changed it, we probably would have done without the flexing and the tee and the cursing. But it was a good moment for our family. Well,
Alexis, that is super. That is so great the way you laid that out. So I'm curious, like when you grow up and little Georgie is playing in all of his little tournaments and he's running around, then he gets to play college basketball. The whole thing's got to be so thrilling. What happens when a moment like that puts your family in the spotlight and all of a sudden the Pappas family is viral?
Well, we loved the people that thought George was great, and the people that didn't think George was great, we were furious with. Because if you know George, you love him because he's got passion and he's got spunk and he doesn't quit. And I was very upset when the sports writers were saying that it wasn't classy, because I don't know how many Division I basketball games they've played at in the Rock. So what do they know about what the last 5 seconds is in a game when you're playing against Kansas?
So what was Georgie afterwards when you guys got together and talked about that? Like, what was going through his mind in that last 5 seconds? When he saw them dribbling out the clock, what was he thinking?
He was thinking, let me do my thing. I'm here in Kansas. I don't quit, and I'm going to show them what I'm all about.
All right, so I would imagine part of this phone call is probably a result of what happened again in Kansas between Kansas and Kansas State. Now, certainly, Alexis, I'm not equating what happened with Georgie and what happened between Kansas and Kansas State, but you've seen where that comparison's been made. Does that make you angry? What was your reaction to what you saw?
Well, I was upset that the player Gordon did not get the same satisfaction that George Papas got. I wish it had turned out differently for him. I wish he had gone down, dunked the ball, flexed, and walked out feeling a little better.
I get that. Now, listen, I did say that I would really like your son's jersey. If I get it, great. If I don't, great. But I really appreciate you making that phone call right now and sharing what we went through. What's your husband's name?
Well, George's dad is named Steve.
All right, Steve. Now, what was Steve's reaction to the whole thing? Like, what was the first thing he said to George when they got together and it was done?
After it was done, it was a little upsetting because we saw how upset George had gotten. I don't think that he understood that the entire basketball world would be able to read lips and see what he had said. And I didn't think he meant to flex. And so I think initially he was upset over what was going to happen to him the next day. But I guess because, it blew up on Twitter and some people liked it, some people hated it. George, hung his head low, stayed the course, and now he's doing okay.
I mean, you got a tough family. Tough Jersey family.
Well, we're from Jersey.
Yeah, exactly. I get that. I respect that. Let me finally ask you this. I know that the family and George have a lot of respect for King Rice. Were you concerned about what the coach would have to say? And the coach obviously was not thrilled with it. Were you concerned about that? What was your reaction to what the coach had to say?
Oh, yeah, I was really concerned, and I'm glad, Coach Rice is great. We love him, and he said what he had to say. I mean, it wasn't the dunk, it was the aftermath. If George had dunked and walked away, we would have been fine. He didn't have to put on a little show. I guess he just got carried away a bit.
I got to ask you, Alexis, one final thought. I've got a couple of kids, and one just started college. He played club baseball. He played high school baseball. I've got another son who plays high school baseball. It's been an absolute thrill watching these kids grow up playing baseball. What's it like to see your son playing D1 basketball?
There's nothing better.
Right?
There's nothing better. Letting your kids live their dreams, there's nothing better.
I knew that was the answer.
As long as they're happy and they feel love, that's all you could ever want for your children.
That's it. That's exactly it. So listen, if I get that jersey, great. And no conditions, but if I get that jersey, that boy of yours better sign it, okay?
He's going to sign it. I got to call King Rice. I got to get a jersey.
You do it. You do what you can. You're welcome to call this show. In the meantime, anytime you want. Alexis, so nice to meet you, and I'm so glad you made that phone call.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being a fan. We know we are.
I know it. I love it. We are too. You have a great day. That's the Pappas family of New Jersey if you need them. What a blast. I love it. Mama's got fire. You know what I love about that, too? I love that she owned that. I love that she said, hey, listen, I'm George Pappas' mother. I'm George Pappas' mother, and I'm here to tell you, he's in that building. There was still time left. He's got passion. He's got fire. He wanted to finish that game. Now, maybe he didn't need to flex. I love that she said that. Maybe we didn't need the flex. Maybe he didn't know that everybody could read lips. Georgie boy. That's a proud, fierce mama. Hawk, I am so glad. Well, I want Alexis. I'm 99.9% certain that was you, but because we've never met, if that wasn't you, that was a great, great actor. But I'm so glad she made that phone call. She's like, I just wish that other guy, Gordon, I just wish that he could have had the same sort of experience as Georgie. He kind of went the other way. That's fun. Like, you never know. You never know what you're going to get on the program. You never know who's watching. You never know who's listening. I bet I know this, though. When you're a family like that and your son is involved in the moment like that, and all of a sudden you're on the big stage, you're part of that news cycle, and people are saying terrible things about your kid, like you're not classy, you don't play the game the right way, this, that, and the other. If you're not accustomed to that sort of thing, and I'm sure they were on a certain level, because if your kid is good enough to play D1 ball, your kid played high school basketball at a high level, you've been in tournaments, you've probably heard some things that were not so nice, but not like that. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be on a big stage and have people say pretty terrible things. But if you've never gone through that before and you're fierce and you're tough, like that family is, you're going to push back. And my point of this is I guarantee they know who said nice things, and I guarantee they know who said not nice things. And I think that Alexis and the Papas family knew that the jungle had his back, because I'd never seen anything like that before. I thought it was great. Otherwise, I would not be asking for the jersey. And she says she's still working on it. That was good. It was great to meet Alexis Papas, and I still love that she's like, I'm George Papas's mother. You know it. All right, your thoughts on that when we come back. 1-800-636-8686. Georgie. She's Georgie's mama. She's tough, man. New Jersey tough. Great energy, too. Well, I'll be thanking you at the end of the day, Alexis, as one of our guests. We had a big day today, right? Kyle Lowry, world champion, gold medalist. Ben Golliver, champion journo. Nikola Vucevic. Alexis Papas. So people are loving Alexis Papas. Let me read you some of the reaction. At Eric in EV tweets, dude, best call ever. War Mama Papas. Jungle legend forever. I'm going to stop right there. I'm not even sure if the Papas family really knows the program, but if you make a first-time caller to this show, and you have to understand about this show, mostly people are not here to see you do well. And I hate to be the guy to say that. That's not the tone that I'm setting. I want you all to do well. I want you all to have a really good experience if you call this show, or you tweet this show, or you email this show. I'm not here to hate. I'm not rooting against you. I'm here to root for you. However, I cannot control what people do or say when they listen to the show. And a lot of people listening are waiting for you to flame. So when she calls up, that could go terribly. That could go so wrong. And the first tweet through is, best call ever? I've been doing this now for a quarter of a decade. There have been some freaking good calls to this show. This guy said, best call ever. Jungle legend forever. I mean, I can't believe somebody else would say that, right? Let's see. Here's one. Drums are real life. Best phone call ever. That's 2 in a row. Alexis Papas came into the jungle and represented. Awesome. At TX Sports Fiend tweets, Ms. Alexis comes in and lights up the jungle. Thank God Adam Hawk didn't get trolled. War mothers who are now lady clones. 2 thoughts on that.
War lady clone.
Number 1, if you're an athlete, any athlete worth their salt, any athlete that aspires to anything or ends up as anything, has schooled their family up early on about there's going to be hate. There's always going to be hate. We cannot react to the hate for the most part. I mean, even I did that early in my career with my family, because when people started to say terrible things about me, I had to say to my family and my wife, listen, I know that hurts. I know you don't like that. You love me. Yes, I know that they don't know me. That's not what I'm about. It doesn't matter. You cannot control what they say. Don't react to it. If you can't deal with that, if that makes you upset, don't look for it. Don't read it. Don't run it back to me. I already see it. I already know. You need to know this. So my feeling generally is when family members react, it goes really badly, generally. Except Mama Alexis, it went really well when she called the program. One thing, maybe it went too well. In other words, what if Hawk did get trolled? You, Hawk, what if you got trolled? What if it wasn't her? Right? I mean, you might say, who would pretend to be Alexis Papas? I don't know, some idiot. People do things like that. There are a lot of people in this world with way too much time on their hands that have nothing better to do than to try to hook me or try to hook Hawk. So the only problem with that call being so awesome is there is an off chance that it was not her. So I said so until I got this tweet. George Papas just tweeted at me at Jim Rome, quote, "You 100% just had a conversation with my mom on air." All right, now Georgie is not blue check verified, but I'm not going to go any deeper on this. It's him. It's him. He said that I talked to his mom. I believe him. I believe it was her. And if somebody got over on us and hooked us, so be it. But I don't think so. That would be a really strong, long con. A really effective con. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying I choose to believe that's the Papas family. Manti Te'o can't believe how long that con is, if you got me on that, all right? SoCal Jeff tweets, "I'm a KU alum. I'm a diehard KU basketball fan. But damn, Jim, Georgie's mom was incredible. Get her a golden ticket." Dude, that's Jeff in SoCal, man. That guy hates everything. That's a KU alum who said that Alexis was awesome. Alexis, mama, the only mistake you made was waiting so long to call or calling so late in this show because they do love you. I'd be reading reaction about how awesome you are for an entire hour had you called last hour. Squirrel2 tweets, "Anytime you need a third guest, just schedule Mama Papas." That was awesome. All right, so the other thing is, if that is the long con and I'm getting hooked, so are all of you, so that's good. It's not just me. Hawk may have finally got one right. Hawk's great. Hawk had no idea who Larry Holmes was, or Digger Phelps, or Nigel Morgan, or Barry Bonds, or LeBron James, but he knew Alexis Papas. Yeah, you may have to change up that huge call. Huge call today is sponsored by Eno, the Capital One assistant that catches things that might look wrong with your credit card, sends an alert to your phone, and helps you fix them. Another way Capital One is watching out for your money when you're not. What's in your wallet? See CapitalOne.com for details.
The steal, the dunk, the flex, the curse out, the tee. I guess you did everything you possibly could do in 5 seconds, right or wrong. And it was exciting for all of us. If we could have changed it, we probably would have done without the flexing and the tee and the cursing. But it was a good moment for our family. Because I don't know how many Division I basketball games they've played at in the Rock. I don't think that he understood that the entire basketball world would be able to read lips and see what he had said.
Mama.
Now I'm done.
God, that is such a classic recap of what happened from his mother. Mama Papas, you rule. Honestly, Alexis, so well done. So glad you made that phone call. Rack her. My thanks to my guest, Alexis Papas.